3, 2, 1. Quick countdown again. Movement. There's movement possibly out there. Ben Henschel, and I think you made reference to a second name possibly. Chris, what can you tell us?
So there's no new names that have entered the equation. However, we do have a little movement here. Let me get to Jalen Petty first.
Okay.
Jalen Petty has been in Lubbock. Depending on when you're watching this, consuming this, listening to it, he's been in Lubbock the last couple of 3 days ish. I think that this is, I guess I'm going to say the word, it appears to be likely. Nothing's done. What has taken so long? Good question. I think this one's a bit, I don't want to say like complicated, but it is. I think if you sign him, I think there's going to be some things from the West Coast that includes some complaining from Stanford about it. I mean, and I know I don't really care what Stanford thinks. Thank you, David Bailey. Thank you, Najee Kennedy. I think that they're going to squawk a bit, but we'll just kind of see what all happens there. But I do think that this seems to be pointing in this direction. So I've asked,
what's the squawking going to be rooted in?
I think you're going to hear accusations of tampering.
I could have guessed
because he was committed to New Mexico, then he was committed to or signed with Stanford, and then not, and then now Tech is on the red. Who knows? Okay, so that's I'll let the other people debate all that stuff. But my thing is that, because I've asked the question, I think people that would know the answer, like, okay, so if there is some sort of issue or Stanford's going to do this or this is taking so long, whatever, pick your storyline there. Why go to all this trouble? And I think there's some thought that Jalen Petty, is much better than maybe we have indicated, or that he's got some Christian Anderson in him. Maybe he's got some ability to help right away. He's got some. So that's why. that's why you may you may go this route. And I can't use the Christian example on everybody because it's not how this works. I mean, I've said it with Nolan Groves. Now we're saying it with Jalen Petty. Maybe you wanted to say it with Ben Henschel. Not everybody is going to be Christian Anderson. That's just not how it works. But I will say that I think Grant deserves some benefit of the doubt. And if they clearly have evaluated and they see something there, they see the way he's wired, they see his mentality, whatever, they deserve the benefit of the doubt because they really haven't missed on much yet. So
I agree.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that, but that one could be, I hate to say imminent, or I hate to say likely, but I'm close to saying those things.
And give me a break, Stanford. Look, everybody needs the opportunity at some point to take the training wheels off and test the academic rigors of an institution of higher education. And where do you go to do that? Well, not Palo Alto. So maybe Lubbock, Texas is the destination. Get over it. Okay, the other name, and I actually left out two I need to shout out. George and Nick, also on the list, asking about these names. Ben Henschel?
Still trying. I think what you're dealing with here is just, and again, I'm going to point back to Grant's words, but and I'll get to kind of maybe the potential new news here in a second, but Grant mentioned back when he did his press availability before he was going to do the Team USA thing in Switzerland. Yeah, we could have one addition, two additions. We'll see. And then he kind of mentioned some eligibility stuff. This is clearly, in my opinion, this has been Henschel related on the eligibility stuff. Is it because it's international? Is it because his GPA isn't high enough? Is it because he doesn't have enough credit hours to have a high school degree? Hell, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. but it's been enough of a roadblock to where this is not really, gotten to where you need it to go yet. However, it's still being worked on, and now I'm going to enter in a new possibility into our conversation here. I guess I'm now realizing, okay, obviously summer is looking less likely because you're running out of summer. Your first day of classes at Texas Tech are going to be in 2 or 3 weeks. And again, I'm not going to talk in absolutes and say no chance he's here and all that. However, I guess I'm now understanding that maybe there's a chance he would come in at semester. Maybe this fall would be able to be time that all parties could get worked on whatever eligibility issue that there is. Again, Grant's words, that could be remedied and he could be here in early mid-December. So I think you're better off with him than without. And I would say that in some ways, if you get him in here in December, if that's the way it plays out, I would find it very hard to believe that he could do enough in that short time frame to then go, okay, man, I'm out of here. I'm going to the NBA. I appreciate it. I mean, you may get him for a year and a half, I guess is what I'm saying. So we'll just kind of see. However, it just appears summer may be unlikely, but maybe it is a scenario where you get him in December. We'll see. It's the storyline that won't die, man. So you're going to keep getting Ben Henschel. He's the new Mike.
Do you realize what you've done?
Yeah.
The podcast host has come out of his hole. He's seen his shadow. There will be 6 more months of Ben Henschel questions. Maybe not 6, but a handful or so. All right. Yeah. I'm here for it. I enjoy it. I feel a little bit lonely whenever the mailbag does not involve one of these. So thank you guys and gals out there for weighing in on that subject. And I got to tell you, just the thought, Jalen Petty, I was interested in. You've mentioned his name for a long time now. Was interested in sort of, but also someone that I wasn't totally, familiar with, like Henschel. But just to hear that somebody might be upset over that addition has got me fully engaged on really wanting that to happen as well. Whether he even takes off the shooting shirt whenever they blow the whistle and toss the ball up in the air, just be fun to annoy, I think, Stanford. So that'll be a good time for everybody if that actually comes to pass. Thank you for that question. Let's see here. This question here. Haven't heard much talk about Bryce Ramirez. How healthy is he now? Do you think he'll be headed for some playing time? That's from Eric.
Yeah, I think he's a rotational player. I think he missed some time and lost some weight in the spring and things like that. But this is a grown man that still smiles at the opportunity to play ball. And he's a rotational player right now is what he is. And so you just this is a guy that was kind of like a primary player for you 2 years ago. He gets injured and you just think about some of the roles that he's been in and all he's fought through and all that. But again, he's a rotational guy. This is somebody though that will try to ensure that the culture is maintained here. That may be his greatest role on this team is, yes, playing good ball and special teams and playing linebacker and doing the things, but he's a culture guy through and through. He's a 10 out of 10. In fact, he's probably an 11 out of 10 as far as that goes. And because of that, he has a tremendous amount of value to this program right now.
All right. Thank you for that question. Milo's asking about if we think there could ever be discussions about expanding Jones Stadium north of 80,000.
Do you have you ever seen the show Mayor of Kingstown?
I have not.
It's a really good show. Paramount Plus. Go check it out. The bad guy's name in there is Milo.
Login and password.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send that to you as soon as we're done.
Yeah, password sharing. That's how you know podcast hosts are close.
But Milo is the bad guy in there, and I really hadn't heard that name Milo previously until just now. So I respect. Not that this Milo is a bad guy. I just it triggered me.
He's got to have a little outlaw streak to be in the mob, but can't be all that. Yeah,
you're not expanding your stadium. No. Bells and whistles. updating where needed, maybe tweaking, but not a wholesale change like that. That would be requiring 20,000 seats, to which I'm just not sure that you could ever fill them.
Yeah, and some are trying to downsize right now. It seems like they're building smaller stadiums.
Yeah.
So
yes.
maybe the era of that's over anyway.
Your recent renovation trimmed your overall capacity just a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I have maybe a pipe dream, but a bit of a dream of maybe fashioning out the north end a little more seamlessly at some point in the future. But I would not want, and totally understand why there wouldn't be movement beyond the number you have. I think it's a good number for you.
Yeah, I mean, and that I don't know what it would take for them to kind of, because you mentioned that north end. That's like you
don't even know what you would do, but
yeah, and I can see where there's a few things where you would maybe want to enclose a bit more, or kind of, I don't know,
maybe just a real column instead of the
you can tell the various projects on how much money was spent on one versus the other, right? And again, it's not that big of a deal. It's more of semantics when you and I are saying, if you really just had extra money, I could see where you could need to.
Sure.
It'll be fine.
I am thinking maybe a big sign now on the back of the Jumbotron, since it faces, the freeway where everybody's driving by, that says you should see the other side. Because you want to talk columns. I mean, good night. It's like the Parthenon on the other side. It's incredible.
Yes.
I imagine there will continue, just like you let off with, the bells and whistles and just making everything finer and fancier. I'm sure we'll continue.
I mean, spend more money on lighting and pyro and sound and the fan enhancement aspect of more drone shows. I mean, yeah, that's because I'm being serious, but I'm kind of joking too. But all kidding aside, it's you and I like it. We would go no matter what. Okay, we both are paid to be there. We both have jobs that are involved with the home games. But it's harder these days to get people to go to games than it used to be. And there's so much on TV. I remember, like, why can't we get more students? Man, we need to improve the Wi-Fi because they like to be on TikTok during the game and whatever. Oh, but the fan. The fan experience is a big deal because there's nothing like being there. You know this, and the sounds, the smells, the whatever. I mean, all that comes with it. The entertainment, the juice you feel. That's where I think that you'll start to see extra monies spent over time, if anything.
I thought, instead of the Wi-Fi upgrade, which that feels like that's also going to be discussed in perpetuity. Yet I don't know if it ever actually comes to fruition. The scheme to get these gals to dress more like Rihanna on game days, that started a long time ago. That was a great idea. That had to have only helped attendance, and probably also presidential tent sunglass sales in the vicinity out there, just for interested parties. This question here from our guy Baumgardner, Run-a-Mucker, is curious whether or not we could offer up somebody you feel like might be this year's quote unquote Micah Hudson, in that fans really are going to want to see this one on the field. I'm going to offer up also, Chris, is Micah Hudson just going to be Micah Hudson again? Or is there somebody else that maybe the fans will be locked into?
I don't know if there is that player this year, just because I think the transfer portal class eliminates that. There also wasn't really the high profile. I mean, I guess if the quarterback play isn't what some want it to be, which I feel like this is every year,
yeah,
you're going to get, hey, when's Will Hammond starting? How long's the leash on Barron? You could just cue those questions up. We'll get those. But as far as like another player, I don't know if there's one that's a decent candidate, and I don't know if everybody will treat the Micah situation the same this year as they did last, where it's like, okay, what's the deal?
I think it's going to be the same, Chris. I got to be honest. Maybe not with that line of questioning, but the fan reaction in the stadium, people are going to really notice for sure when he's there, when he's not. I think that part will be the same, at least for a little while.
Okay. All right.
And I want it to be, I kind of like that. I thought it was it's like we're talking about the people that were reacting to him being out there or not being out there at the game, they weren't on TikTok. They were invested in what number was on the field or what number wasn't. So I like that they were locked into that degree.
Because these are typically the players that would fall into this kind of category. It's like that, these are skill players, and I just don't know of a young receiver. You're going to play all your running backs. Your backup quarterback was a big time recruit, and he's played some and all that, but there's not like this. Lloyd Jones is your quarterback signing, and he's coming off of a knee injury. I just don't know if there was any. And then defensively, there's really not any room for anybody. I mean, I would love to see Eddie Smith play some, just because he's like a giant human, and I can't tell you how many people came up to me last year on the sideline and like, I feel this elbow in my ribs, and they're like, "Who's that guy?" I'm like, he's a true freshman. But it's like you barely hear his name just because there's so many guys in front of him, and he's going to be a redshirt freshman.
Well, when I see him hit the field, I'm going to be binoculars on level to see your reaction.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he's in Joey's ear telling him bring him back.
but I really don't know of a good candidate. I mean, I could probably come up with one with some more thought. But
Gardner said he had some guesses, but he didn't include them. So just text them to us.
I would love to hear. Yeah, I would love to hear what those.
I really think people will be interested. Again, you kind of got to offer them a little meat to get them engaged. That means the guys got to appear on the field in the first place. So I don't really know what the plan is for Micah to be out there necessarally, and
they have to have been like a coveted acquisition, like somebody that everybody was excited about when you got him. But I mean, I think that most of those guys are all going to already play anyway. But I don't know.
Yeah. You think you could slap a dollar amount on the free publicity Texas Tech has had this offseason from a marketing or advertising standpoint? Micah says, I wonder if we compared that to NIL dollars spent, if they've already got their NIL money worth. NIL's money worth.
Yeah. I've always wondered how they, because like I think they felt like that. I've heard some mention that the amount of PR that you got from your softball run was worth like $50 million or something to the university, and just the whole, if you'd have paid for it, your name being on ESPN and all the stuff written and all the hubbub, social media and all the stuff. I don't ever know how anybody comes up with those numbers, but there's probably a dollar figure that somebody could come up with on some formula that would indicate that, but this is nothing compared to if you actually win the Big 12 and make it into the CFP, on what that would do. You can put your logo up in Arrowhead Stadium, where Pat plays. You can put it on a billboard in the Metroplex. You can play out. Yeah, exactly.
The Broncos.
By the way, speaking of because the first time I ever became aware of that was when Oregon did it with Joey Harrington way back in the day. They're just trying to publicity, big Nike and all that stuff in Times Square and all that. Did you see? I guess this came out on Wednesday that Oregon is going to wear tie-dye uniforms on October the 25th.
Ooh.
Yeah, and they're having a Grateful Dead game. Anyway, they're trying to stay ahead of the curve because everybody's doing the uniforms differently now. So anyway, there you go.
Puff, puff, pass. I hope if I was the opposition that they've got plenty to share in that locker room.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That already in Oregon, I think medicinally or recreationally, they are pro. Okay, interesting tidbit.
I know. Hey,
this is what you get. How the tie-dye was going to be tied in, but it is Oregon after all. So
yeah, this is what you get with me. That
actually makes more sense than I expected. Jeff wants to know, Level, what's your favorite practice to watch, football or men's basketball?
My favorite thing to watch is like a walkthrough on a Friday morning before a football game, because they go through a lot of what's on their call sheet those days.
When they're at home, is that a day now in that fancy new walkthrough room, you think? The virtual still? Or? Okay.
That's a good question. It used to be in the indoor. I don't know if it'll be
I'm assuming on the road you're in like the ballroom or
Hotel
whatever at the hotel.
or the hotel parking lot.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean it's true because if they not that they're going to call these things, and you never know when it's going to be called, but if there's like gadget plays or if there's some fake punt they're going to run, and they may carry stuff over for a month or heck all season and never actually get to it.
Yeah.
But that's what's always fun is when you like, oh, they're going to kind of have be ready for this and this and this, and then then when the game plays out, you're like, I saw this in slow motion the other day. So that would be my favorite part, and that's why. Like basketball is fun too, but basketball is so much. There's so much the same, and it's like we're going to do this. We may run a new inbounds, this and that, but yeah, just in general, probably football.
Eric is asking this question after listening to y'all and our new OC. Are we going to have a fairly simple scheme, or do I read between the lines a multifaceted plan with a solid running game? He wants to know if I'm still going to be chanting "run the damn ball." I'll do that eternally, whether appropriate or not.
No, I think we've kind of said simple with defense. I think offensively, I don't know if this is some sort of complex scheme. I think what Coach Leftwich is all about, what some of the players would say, look, this is tempo. This is a spread run. Roy Alexander would swear to you this is the air raid. I've used the term with you veer and shoot.
Yes.
It's a lot of RPO, but I also was told this, and I'm gonna lean on this a little bit. He uses a lot of motion, and I think what he like the game he likes to play is he likes to scheme it up to where he gets the matchup he wants with one of his guys versus a guy that he is handpicked on the opposition, and is going to kind of play that game to where he can exploit it.
Okay, I'm thinking about the kicker and the water boy.
Yeah, I mean, like, and some of the shifts and the motions and personnel groups, a lot of this is designed to, I want to get this guy having to guard this guy because I'm winning that matchup, and we're going to design something that is going to get us to that point, and then we're going to play action it. So I think he majors in that.
All right. Bill was asking, I think we already answered this one, though, about a team or individual season record we could see getting broke. You said their sack record is in danger. I think you threw that one out already. Yeah, I like it, too. I just wanted to give you a chance to say that one again.
Yeah.
That's good to hear, man. That's a great pick, too. That's probably the best answer, I think, far and away.
Yeah, maybe like, defensively, like, I have to go back and look like what years you've had the most takeaways or QB pressures. You mentioned the sack total, like a total defense number. I mean, that's really where I would look at on statistical categories there. I mean, could Jacob Rodriguez, could he break the single season tackle? I mean, I'm sure Flugents has that. The flu shot, which they used to say, how are you allocating his tackles again? Like, because there used to be stories written like, well, if he's in the picture, then we put him down as part of the tackle, or whatever. So there was always some, because he was like in the 150s and 160s, I think, some of those years, if memory serves. And it's like, did he really make all those tackles? So anyway, but
legend. Love watching that guy play football. He would have made it if there's just a little more time. He's about to. Guy's probably going down because he wouldn't want to be tackled by students. Used to go to the same church as Lawrence did in Lubbock, and man, an imposing presence at the call to the altar. I just got to be honest. Sometimes I was a little distracted. Not knowing who to give my change to.
And he's a very soft-spoken guy.
Great guy.
I saw him recently with his wife and then a couple of kids, I think. And yeah, he's a really, really good dude. But yeah, he looked like he could still go.
Let's see here. We'll wrap it up pretty quick. This one from Dean. If you had your way, would you rather have Baylor's non-con schedule or ours? He said he finds himself envious. They've got Auburn and SMU.
Yeah. Okay, it's a tricky question to answer. I would say Baylor's, and yet I would be a stress case about it.
You're going to be stressing a little over this one, I think. I don't think you'll avoid it all.
I really hope not. I mean, I think this is about as stress-free with what you should have on your team. This could be about as stress-free of a non-conference schedule as you've had in a long time.
You've told us you're a worrier before, Chris.
I am a worrier, but I do like Baylor's non-conference schedule. I am a bit envious because there's a big payoff. Now they could be, because it's not going to make the league look good if they drop one or both to SMU and Auburn, and then they end up winning this league or they really contend. Okay, I will say that to you too.
Yep.
That's going to make people are going to use that and say that's a negative toward the Big 12, not a positive. But if they were to win some of these games, they're going to be in the news, and they deservedly so. The one versus Auburn is a Friday night game too. I'll be interested to see. By the way, did you see this? I'm full of info. Did you see that you can go to Costco in some markets and buy some special deals? I believe Oklahoma State was on this list, and so was Baylor. Interesting.
Yeah, but I feel like I've seen that before. Didn't like United used to have some game packages or something back in the day?
I guess so. But Costco was a different one. I had no idea that you could roll that way at Costco. But maybe that's I'm late to the party there.
Well, Baylor can't just keep buying tarps for every seat. They got to try to sell these things at some point. Come hell or high water.
Most overrated new stadium in the country is that one.
Yeah.
If you peel back the onion on that bad boy, they skimped.
Baño on the Brazos.
That's not going to hold up for many years. That's going to need some serious help with, the overall structure. I mean, it is not a lot of solid brick and mortar with that place.
Let's see here. One more. This one from Alex. We actually had this conversation recently in a way. What is Barron's legacy ceiling? Could he attain Graham Harrell's status? What would it take?
You and I have talked about this recently. I would say this. I'm just going to piggyback on my man Casey Cowan's greatness.
Oh, okay.
I don't care what his legacy is if you win the Big 12. I mean, we can debate that. We can get into it. I don't think he could reach that category in my eyes. I think that would take at least a Big 12 title and maybe some playoff activity, and then I would go
Big 12 to even have that combo.
Yeah, I would think okay, but again, more of Cowan's greatness here. Some of these, I mean, you lived that era too. Graham beat the number one team in the country. He also beat many other ranked teams in the country. I think those teams were legit. They had like big time draft picks and all the stuff. And I don't know if the equivalent of that is on this year's schedule, at least in your regular season and even the conference title game. So, but you know what? Just win, baby. And if you win, I'd love to have the conversation and debate it with you. In fact, I bet we could allocate a week's worth of shows on all this if it was a real conversation. And I would be more than happy to debate and with myself, with Casey, with anybody that wanted to text in, and we could just go back and forth. But it's going to require winning. And if you do that, we will sit here and debate it till the sun comes up.
Let's revisit that before the playoffs start, but just right after we win the Big 12 title. We'll revisit that right then.
Sold.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right, Chris. Looking forward to another great week on the other side of this weekend. So hope that treats you well, man. I appreciate your time. Regulation and OT all week long. And we'll see you for the next one.
Bang, bang times two. Here we go. Yes, here we go. Beginning of practice has begun. We're now into August a little bit. I can see the light coming down the tunnel there at the very. I'm still having to squint a little bit, but it's getting a little bit brighter.
It's coming. It'll be here. Like I can't remember. I think it was it maybe Caleb or Chase that were texting in. One of the mobsters talking about I want football at a random point in the night, and it may have been Jet. Can't remember, but I told him be careful what you wish for. It will be here at some point very, very soon. And all it brings with it, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fugly. All right, Chris, thank you for your time. Thank you all for being out there in the mob and keeping the mailbag full. Appreciate it. Keep them coming anytime, any subject, and we'll catch you on the other side.